listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at
a time. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another full edition of the Narrative Podcast. I am your host, Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is the home of original people peace, reciprocity, and positivity. Welcome to my platform. Welcome all my narrators. So, all my narrators know the demonstration. They already know what my podcast is about. All my content, what to expect in this segment. But I'm going to start out by giving a brief overview of my content before diving into the content for people unfamiliar with my platform, have never heard the Narrative Podcast the Narrative Podcast. So, but before diving into that, gotta make some noise. I'm on the late freight. The late Tupac Amaru Shakur was recently awarded his star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So I'm not gonna lie, I got mixed feelings about that because he was like supernova before he passed away. He pretty much surpassed everybody in Hollywood before he got killed. So I kind of got sour grapes that wait until he gets killed before they give him a Hollywood star, unless you're in the percent group that doesn't believe that he actually is no more. Dun, dun, dun. I do got some mystery music. Hold on. In case if you believe that he is still alive. Yeah, I had two of them. But that's my little conspiracy theory music. But some people really still believe he's still alive, but hey, to each their own. Like I said, I have mixed feelings about that. It's like I'm glad they acknowledged him, but at the same time, they acknowledged him this late. So, okay, they couldn't give it to him when he was alive. Why are you going to give it to him after he's been no more for like close to 30 years? Like, that don't make no sense. But I'm glad he did get it. I'm glad that he got acknowledged because he was like super impactful, very had a very polarizing effect in pop culture, in hip hop culture, and in Hollywood. So I guess that's kind of a good thing that he got acknowledged. All right. So as promised, diving right into my overview of the Narrative Podcast, and then we'll jump right on into the content. So first of all, let's start at the top, Tippy. What is the significance of the name Narrative Podcast? Why did I start this podcast? I started this podcast because the media, liberal media, mainstream media, whatever you want to call it, depicts and weaves a false narrative about original people and original culture. They depict our people in the most negative light possible. They just always gravitate to all the negative nuances and the negative stereotypes within our culture. Uh, and they go out of their way to portray and make us look and appear a certain way, all in the means for to garner profit off of our pain, off of our suffering, um, you know, just making a killing off of all our trauma, and then also marketing this a certain way to people outside of our culture, making us appear a certain way to them, so they can control and manipulate their minds about how to, engage us and treat us. So what I want to do to offset that is create a platform where I got the answer to that, or changing the narrative by, playing up all of our strengths, delivering content that's empowering and impactful to our people and about our culture. So that's what the Narrative podcast was spawned out of just the blatant disregard and the disrespect of our people and our culture, and having the media blatantly go out of their way to make us appear a certain way. So that's the how I came up with the Narrative podcast, the name, the Narrative. So my ultimate takeaway, or my ultimate goal for the podcast, is to change the narrative. And that's a perfect segue into my tagline: Narrative podcast, changing the narrative, one episode at a time. And then how do I destroy the negative stereotypes? I provide positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. That's, 110% what my podcast is about. I'm providing positive frames of reference about our people and our culture. And my ultimate takeaway, I want people to get, if nothing else, from listening to my podcast, is the importance of sharing, our cultural richness, positivity about our people and our culture online, whatever platform they occupy, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Twitter, whether you're a podcaster, a YouTuber, a TikToker. Always be putting out some positivity about our people and our culture. So, in essence, that's pretty much why I call all my people to tune into my podcast my narrators, because we're living in the digital age, and basically we're all content creators to some small capacity. Meaning, like, whatever you post online is your content, and people judge you in this era that we're living in, based on what type of content that you're posting online. So we're in the unique position to change the landscape of how our people are being viewed by changing the narrative by narrating or telling or narrating our own stories. So how do we tell or narrate our own stories? We post positive content. We should be posting, things reflective of leadership, entrepreneurship, unity, family structure, just basically the inverse of everything that the mainstream media posts about. That we should be posting the inverse. We should be embracing and walking into the negative stereotypes that they project and put over us. So just imagine if, people outside of our culture, they're only given negative frames of reference about our culture. That's all they're given is negative frames. So if we're embracing the negative stereotypes, if we're embracing gang culture, gun culture, pimp culture, whore culture, thought culture, F-boy culture, like what do you think they think about us? So it's not like caring about what they think about us. It's just basically, telling our stories correctly. If you're going to tell our story, tell it the right way. And that's what, the narrative podcast is in essence, is just about telling our story um, the right way, empowering us in that way, having correct information and, you know, correct content out and not just letting them, place stigmas over us. Also, on my platform, I refer to our people as original people versus black. And the reason why I do that, because I feel original is more befitting to describe us as a people as opposed to black. I don't have anything against the word black. I'm not ashamed of being black. Um, you know, I just feel original describes us better than black. And my to back up my philosophy behind that, I give you a brief little, a walk through my theory about that. So first of all, who was here 5,000 years before every other culture on the planet? So we was original, who was here first, meaning the first, before everybody. Also, we created or originated, spoken language and written language. And in doing so, ultimately, the colonizers came and they, like they've done all throughout history, they kind of adapted certain things as their own and retold things inaccurately. I'm going somewhere like the word black. So when we created the word black, it was really a positive word. It was it reflected all things positive, all things godly, all things powerful. Black really meant, kind of what symbolized wealth. It symbolized power. It symbolized health, well-being, longevity. Um, you know, Prosperity, strength, um, godliness. The word black was associated with all these positive things. But along come the colonizers, and then they flipped the narrative and they made black mean all these negative things. So, like, fast forward to now, go into any dictionary right now and look up the color black, and you will see all these negative descriptors describing, how to use, instructing you how to use the word black and associating negative things with the word black. You know, it's often linked to, disease, pestilence, wickedness, evilness, misfortune, chaos, strife, um, financially poor. Pretty much all things, the way how they got it constructed in the dictionary is just linking all bad things to the word black. Also, it symbolized the way they got it set up, death, chaos, the end of all things. So, And then you go over and then look at white, and you will see everything is pure and positive and innocent and godly and, just the bee's knees. But now you go to the same dictionary, look up original. Original just really just means the first, in many cases the best. And I already said, we were on this planet first. We originated pretty much everything, like every other modern convenience we have in the world, what came from us. We invented pretty much everything. We invented spoken language. We invented written language. We invented, measurements of time, measurements of space, light, mathematics, science. We invented or originated so many things. We originated pretty much everything. Everything came from us, like all modern inventions. We originated medicine. So we was and are the original man of this planet. And so I think that's just a better, word to describe us as a people. And I try to use that as often as possible here on my platform to describe us. So anytime I'm saying original, I'm speaking about us, Black people. Another thing about using the word original, it also unifies us as a people because there's several different types of us out here. We all have several different pronouns that we respond to identify ourselves. We're scattered all over the globe. And contrary to all unpopular belief, we didn't get to all these different places all over the world by slave boats, especially here in America, in the Americas. We didn't. We was already here. He was already pretty much everywhere. But the word original kind of, strengthens and unifies that bond. It makes us all as uniformity to us. Like we can all trace our lineage back to Africa. We're all bonded by our melanin. So saying original, that's just kind of like the glue, the tie that binds us as a people. There's many different types of us. We speak many different types of languages, dialects of languages, cultural differences, geographical, locations, but we're all one. We all got the same blood coursing through our veins, bound together by the same source. So I just believe original is better befitting to us, to describe us as a people. And then also, it would appear from my perspective, I'm not right about everything, but from my perspective, it seems like us as a people, we're acting out, the colonizer's definition of the word Black. When you look at, how we're faring as a people here in America and globally, it seems like we're acting out their definition, acting out and living their definition of it. But anyway, also, before I dive into the content, I just want to say this is a time-sensitive platform, meaning, I got it broken down into sections. Each section has a speaking point. I describe each section as I come to them. The reason for that is I want my content to be cohesive, concise, and to the point. I don't want to shoot over people's heads. I want to deliver the knowledge in a constructive manner that will resonate with you. Basically, I don't want to ramble on. And that's exactly what I was doing when I first started podcasting. I had no idea what I wanted to talk about. I would just hit the button and just go and go and go. So I took a step back, looked at my content, uh, decided in my mind, what do I want to accomplish in this space that I'm in? And, you know, came up with it. So, with no further ado, here we go. Narrative podcast starting now. All right, so up on my first section, the very first section on the Narrative podcast, this section is called the contest, or the promo section, excuse me. I almost jumped the gun. And in the promo section, what I'm doing is I'm promoting businesses owned and operated by original people, with the goal of, doing my part to help circulate original people dollars in the original people community, by making original people businesses known, giving them free publicity to grow and expand their operation. Because many of the people that reach out to me, do outreach in the community. So they hire their own, they either, have their own nonprofit organization or they pay into one. And so, it's basically like a reach one, teach one thing. And here we go, starting now, the promo section on the Narrative Podcast. If you are an original people person, business owner, proprietor, have your own business, product, or service that you would like or need promoted, please hit me up, Halsey Allen, at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host. In the subject bar, type promo. The body of the email, tell me a little bit about yourself, and everything you want me to know about your business, product, and service, and I'll properly promote it right here on the Narrative Podcast for 110% free. So the more specific you are about your business, whatever you need promoted, the better job I can do promoting it for you. Sounds like a plan? Cool. Now, on to the second section of the Narrative Podcast. This is the contest section. In this section, what I'm doing is I'm promoting a contest exclusively for my platform, the Narrative Podcast. And it's basically like incentive slash listener participation to get you to participate in the content until I'm able to, have the means to interact with you on a more direct wavelength. So like I'm working on the hotline, but until I get one, until I get the Facebook Live going and all that, and Instagram Live and going all that, it's just a way for you to tap in and participate in the content, participate in the current subject that I got. And the current subject that I want you to participate with me in is sharing your most recent shopping while black experience. And for doing so, you will be rewarded with a bulk supply of your favorite snack food item. So whatever it is, you're going to get a bulk supply of it, whether it's Snickers, Reese's, chips, whatever your little craving is, I get it for you, a bulk supply of it at that. So to enter the contest, please hit me up, Halsey Allen, and the email address is the exact same that I just laid on you for the promotional section, but the only difference is I'm separating the two with the subject bar. Got it? Okay. So hit me up for the contest, and it's called the Chew on This contest, by the way. Hit me up, Halsey Allen at passionwebmail@passion.host. And in the subject bar, type Chew on This / shopping while black. And if you don't want to type the entire word shopping while black, you can type SWB in all caps. And in the body of the email, make sure to include your mailing address, your most recent shopping while black experience, a story of what happened to you. Try not to exceed over 6 paragraphs. I don't want a novel. I just want to know, the details, what happened. And so not only will I, send a bulk supply of your snack, the interesting stories will get read, online when I do a broadcast. Haven't shared any stories in a while, but I share a real interesting one. But yeah. So that's it, and that's all. Oh yeah, and tell me what type of snack you like, of course. Your mailing address so I know where to send it, and your most recent shopping while black experience, and I'll run it back one more time before going on to the next section. So to enter the contest, that you won this contest, hit me up at passionwebmail@poeticpassion.host, subject bar, type chew on this / shopping while black. If you don't want to type the entire word shopping while black, SWB in all caps. Body of the email, your most recent shopping while black experience, accompanied by your mailing address, and then tell me, what type of snack food item that you would like as your prize. And I'll send you a bulk supply of it, simply for entering the Chew on This contest. And I'm not charging any money. Entry is free. And, you got nothing to lose. Enter the contest. All right. So those two were the warm up. And now on to the main event, the highlight section. The highlight section is designed to share and engross you with stories of entrepreneurialism. I'm giving you the positive frame of reference of entrepreneurialism in this section. One, primarily because we don't have a lot of those. We don't see positive frames of reference about that or hear positive frames of reference about that. The very few reality television shows that we have circulating around about original people, entrepreneurs, are, tainted with dysfunction. It's like the producers make you focus so much on the fighting and the cursing each other out and the disunity and the disharmony that you forget all about the entrepreneurialism. You forget that these are young professionals earning 5 to 6 figures or better, doing for the community, hiring their own people, networking with each other, being professional. All that is cut out of it to sell us basically a dysfunctional show and in the effort to desensitize us and make us accept dysfunction as normal. So in my section, what I'm doing, I'm giving you all positivity. I'm walking you through the scope of an entrepreneur. I'm giving you their story, their background story. I'm laying out the whole, how they came up with their idea, the concept, the year that they came up with it, how they got their funding, uh, the significance of their name for their brand, um, trials and tribulations that they had as an entrepreneur. Just basically, I'm telling you their story, like laying it all out. And once again, like overall point is just to provide you the positive frame of reference about entrepreneurialism, um, you know, and also to create the healthy habit of promoting our own. Because while you may feel that you don't have enough money to purchase, from our people, at the very least you can do is use your platform to promote our people. Because while we are due reparations, it's up to us to support one another, um, regardless of how you personally feel about them. We got to start taking emotion out of the equation because we go to the whatever business we go to, we know darn well them people don't be wanting us in their stores and their restaurants and they're nothing. But we go there every day and support them, knowing our presence isn't wanted. So why not support, one of your own, regardless of how you personally feel about the individual running the business. I'm not saying go and take abuse, take somebody giving you subpar product, but then also, we have to learn how to find the ladder. In addition to that, the types of businesses that I highlight, they kind of coincide with my this base formula I use. They are original people owned and operated. It's either a solo, that person that founded it, or it's a family owned business. And if it's a family owned business, I'm giving you a double. I'm giving you a example of generational wealth, because it's in the family and it's for future generations. They're passing the baton. Also, the proprietors that I highlight in the highlight section, they either pay into the community or have some type of non-profit organization, some type of charity where they're, of their own, or they have one that they pay into. So they're doing some type of community outreach, they're hiring their own, they're giving back to some small capacity. They're not just there for the profit. And then lastly, they align up with my theme. And my current theme is the season of summer. All right. So since it is pretty much the month of June, summertime, it would not quite be summertime without the most popular, I think everybody, not just me. Sometimes it's just me when I be picking my seasons, stuff that rings like, in my mind to equate the seasons. But like I know everybody associates this beverage with the season of summer. And I probably already gave it away. So that's a perfect segue to just tell you what it is. Lemonade. Everybody buys lemonade, goes to a fire lemonade stand in the summertime for a refreshing way to cool down, or as in the South they call it some cold drink. Everybody wants to wet their whistle in the summertime. So the next few businesses I'll be highlighting today on the Narrative podcast in the highlight section will be businesses that specialize in selling lemonade. Lemonade was a popular drink and it still is. R.I.P. Guru. All right. Getting on to the awning. Up first in the highlight section, the first business I will be highlighting is Pucker Up Lemonade. And you can go online to purchase some at www.puckeruplemonade.com, of course. And the proprietor is one Mrs. Carnisha Kristen Stewart. Established the business in 2011. Physical address 723 East Compton Boulevard, Compton, CA, Compton, Cali, 90221. Telephone number 507-8177. And I guess it's 562 is the area code. So first of all, it's family owned and operated. She started began selling lemonade out of an igloo cooler. She got the recipe. It's a family recipe that she fine-tuned. So basically, the original family recipe was like liquid diabetes, and she kind of, made it more health conscious, like chop the sugar content down. It's also a home of firsts in the lemonade business. It has the first all-you-can-drink bar. Like nobody else has done that before her. It's all you can drink, unlimited lemonades. You can mix and match up the flavors. She has like over 50 types of lemonade. You can sample all of it for a fixed price. She also is the home of the bottomless cup. Like you can purchase you a cup. She does a lot of pop-ups and mixers and pop-ups anywhere where she's at. If you purchase like a $5 cup, unlimited refill. So like if she's at a baseball game or a football game, basketball game, selling her lemonade, you pop up on her with your cup, you get to walk back and forth getting lemonade until she leaves, as long as you got that cup. And like I said, she got an unlimited lemonade bar. You can mix and match up the flavors, make your own unique lemonade concoction. Everything's all natural, organic, oh so refreshing. So do yourself the hugest favor this summer and go get you some Pucker Up Lemonade. Join me in a warm narrative podcast. Round of applause for Miss Kanisha Stewart's and Pucker Up Lemonade. Oh, just a second. Hello. All right, I'm back. So, kind of flubbed up in the notes. Um, our second lemonade is Dillonade, and this comes from the brain of Miss Tiffany Green, who named her lemonade after her 14-year-old son, Dylan. Telephone number, they don't have, I don't think they got an actual website, but you can hit it up, telephone and make inquiries at 215-617-4422. Let me hit it up right quick because I don't think I did a good job taking down notes this week, guys. All right. Gee whiz. Dillonade. Okay, she does. So it's Dillonade.com. I think this is her. Let me see. If I see her picture, is this the one? I think that's her. I believe that's her. Tiffany Green. It's not saying her name in the Our Story section, but it says Dillonade. So I'm guessing that's her. I hope I'm giving the right promotion. My son Dylan. Let me see. Let me see. Maybe the product will help me. Our Story. Well, I'm pretty sure this is the right one. Oh yeah. It's it. So, what makes her brand stands out the most? She has actual, real pieces of fruit in her lemonade. She started out um, just selling homemade lemonade in front of stores, out of cups basically. She was mixing it up, put on the spot in cups. I couldn't dig anything up to, you know, justify why she uses the fresh pieces of fruit in her lemonade, but that definitely sets her apart from the competition. I don't think nobody's doing that. Well, retraction, I just got through reading somebody that's doing that, but fresh fruit makes all the difference. Cause like if have you ever like put fruit in just water, infused fruit water? So like that concept of that plus lemonade, yeah. Also refreshing. She's been on talk shows with her son. They've been in local newspapers with their brand. Um, believe they even had a grocery deal at one point in time. But definitely go support that brand, Dillonade, for Miss Tiffany Green and her son Dylan. Let's clap it up for him. Then last but not least, in the highlight section here on the Narrator Podcast is Trey's Squeeze. Oh, bad job on me, guys. I did not write the young brother's name down. His entire name. I think his name is just Trey. You know us, it's always like a Deion Trey or a Trey Vaughn or Trey something. it's rarely, that Trey is just the name. It's really rare. It's like always short for something in our community. It's Trey's Squeeze, that's the name of his product. He got a Trey Squeeze TikTok video. So he was 11 years old when he came up with the idea. It's all natural, fresh squeezed lemonade. The young brother is from Manhattan, Kansas commercial. He just basically started selling in front of grocery stores. Hy-Vee grocery chain became a major distributor. He went out going all over the United States, started out in Manhattan and New York City, then went to Kansas City, and they started selling out all his brands all over the United States. So now their business is even so successful that they purchased a vending machine that sells his products. Currently, he just got 3 mainstay flavors, but he adds seasonal ones to the mix. But strawberry, wildcat punch, and watermelon is his mainstays. And they're giving away trade secrets in this article that I'm reading right now because I didn't put in the notes. So the wildcat punch gets its purple color from the butterfly pea flower powder. I didn't know. I never heard of a butterfly pea flower to begin with. Okay, so it says Trey Squeeze first arrived in Kansas after Trey entered a pitch competition at Hy-Vee Opportunity. It's Opper and then Unity in uppercase letters, so I'm guessing it's some type of incentive for the community. It says exclusive business summit in the month of September that it started, which was in 2011. Article goes on to say they went. He entered Shark Tank and then got a startup marketing. Okay, I don't know why they had it at the end. So I guess he started the business helping out his uncle's barbecue business in Manhattan. farmer's market a couple of summers ago, not the actual Manhattan in New York, but it was a Manhattan's farmer's market in Kansas City. This article was kind of misleading. So he noticed that nobody had any beverage stands, and he went to corner the market on the beverages, and thus his business was born. And his tagline is "Squeeze your dreams, squeeze into your dreams." So Trey squeeze into your dreams. There's not too much more on it. Sorry, I took all these long pauses because I was trying to read over the article. I didn't prepare my notes properly, but Trey Squeeze is definitely doing very good. And the young man, I think he's about 14 now. He was like 11 when he started, but it's still going and thriving. So basically, he got Kickstarter money. He was on Shark Tank. That's how he grew his business. And of course, using social media to promote his brand in his local community, making, valuable connections. So that is the last business on the highlight section in the Narrator podcast. So give a warm round of applause to the young brother Trey and Trey Squeeze. Squeeze into your dreams, y'all. All right, next section in the Narrator podcast is the spotlight section. In the spotlight section, what it is I'm giving prominent figures within our community the just dues, the roses while they're here for work done, well done. The types of people that I spotlight in the spotlight section are prominent figures within our community. Prominent figures in the entertainment industry, let me clarify, ranging from everything from actors, actresses, recording artists, comedians, athletes, writers, producers, public figures, YouTubers, TikTokers, just basically anybody with a public platform and a polarizing presence online, I will be spotlighting. I've also spotlighted religious figures as well. But yeah, the whole purpose of the spotlight section is to create the healthy habit of saying something nice about your brother or sister online as opposed to something slanderous, something mean-spirited, spreading lies and gossip all the time, as we're programmed and conditioned to believe in the era where we live in by the powers that be. We believe we can't garner, money or get traction for your brand without tearing down another original person or, throwing them under the bus or saying something slanderous about them. So, on my platform, I want to create, the healthy habit of just saying something nice about a brother or sister rather than something slanderous and untrue or talking about them or, trying to degrade them online in some small capacity as we become conditioned into doing. And on a side note, we're the only people that do that Like Asians don't get online bashing other Asians. Spanish people don't get online bashing other Spanish people. Italians don't get online bashing other Italian people, and so on and so forth. We're the only people to do that. So, me creating the spotlight section is, my remedy for, talking bad about each other online. And it must be catching on, and I must be some type of effective, because before I added a spotlight section to my podcast, the Narrator podcast, nobody was spotlighting anyone. No YouTubers, TikTokers, nowhere online was you hearing people talking about the spotlight. Now, every time you tune into a radio show, if like a satellite radio show or YouTube or even TV shows, like where they're interviewing people, before they get to the guest, that'd be like, today we'll be spotlighting so and so and so and such and such. But before I added a spotlight section to my podcast, the Narrator podcast, nobody was spotlighting anybody. So I always got to put it out there. I'm not angry. As they say, imitation is the best form of flattery. That was my overall goal, to get us speaking positively about one another. And I guess it's been paying off because everybody's doing it now. But I got to always give it up to myself for coming up with that idea. Halsey Allen on the Narrative Podcast. Make some noise for me.
You are now listening to the Narrative Podcast with Halsey Allen. The Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.
In a real way. Okay, so up on the Narrative Podcast is a personality you will recognize immediately. He has been in so many television shows, or movies, featured in so many movies. Very polarizing figure, stands at 6'2", much smaller in stature now, but, he's wearing it well. None other than talk show host extraordinaire, Mr. Big Boy. So Big Boy was born Kurt Alexander, September 8th, 1969. He was born in Chicago on the west side, moved to LA at 2 years old, was DJ in high school, bodyguarded, the hip hop group Far Side, and he made his received his first big break as announcer at Vibe. And then ever since then, we've seen him just, one meteoric rise after another one. He's always been impactful on the radio, using his space intelligently, because there are a lot of culture vultures destroying our culture right now. And sadly to say, the biggest concentration of culture vultures picking the carcass of our culture clean is like within our own house. Like, I just talked about a culture vulture this week on my live. I ain't going to give him no more pub, but somebody, Tyrese was blasting. But, sadly, most of it comes from our own people. But Big Boy breaks the mold. He's not that. Actually, his interviews are like therapeutic. He goes out of his way to try to put, whatever artist comes to his show in a positive light, he does his best to try to douse the rumors rather than fan the flames of the rumor or gossip or whatever issues are coming on his show to address. Um, and then they had something online where like there's this guy online, this YouTuber, I think. He does like these little animated stories. He's drawn and they're telling the story of their life, the person that he's, animating. And I seen it one day and like the best one I saw that the guy did was like Big Boy. They was telling how he got bullied in high school and, all the you know, mental effects it had on him because of that, but he persevered. We've seen him overcome obesity right in front of our eyes. We've seen him overcome diabetes. He got a tremendous sense of humor, but then at the same time, he got a serious tone to him. He's very good for the culture, very inspiring, very motivating, very entertaining. Like, it's kind of hard not to watch one of his shows and not kind of get a little chuckle. Got a good personality, good, for the culture. Goes out of his way to make sure his guests feel comfortable, not, walking into an attack like they're about to get ambushed with a setup, about to just ask some super personal questions. I never witnessed him ask leading questions to his guests. He's one of the few like journalists to know when to just move on to the next thing. He doesn't try to prod and prod and prod. But very good VJ. Kind of a dope actor, kind of good actor. Like, if you don't remember him from nothing else, you will remember him from the Players Club. Like, he's hilarious in Players Club. But he had a kind of a rough upbringing. Basically, even though he came from Chicago, he's basically like a LA native, so familiar with the terrain, survived that environment. Didn't become a statistic, didn't, let that environment take him down, overcame it, became something good in life, something good to, witness and look up to. So give a warm Narrator Podcast round of applause for Big Boy. And then you know what? He's so big, ominous, I'm going to go on and hit him with the air horn. All right, on the next section in the Narrator Podcast is the health and wellness section. Now, with the health and wellness section, it is just how it sounds. I'm going to be speaking about health and wellness, something to promote total body wellness within my community. First of all, I'll just say to anybody listening, my content is for anybody to listen to me. Doesn't matter, if you're Caucasian, Asian, whatever, but just know that all the content on the Narrative Podcast is aimed towards my people, original people, aka Black. So having said that, in this section especially is where I'm talking to my people. So even though, we're all like God's creatures or the higher power or whatever you call yourself, believing in source, we have differences. And so I really talk about the differences, the unique differences that we all have. We all have unique dietetic needs. We all have unique, mental things we deal with as a people. So we don't all have the same problems. We don't all have the same DNA. Like what's good for you is harmful to me. And so what I'm focusing in on this section is what's good for my people, because my people, I feel, or I know for a fact, that are being targeted. We're being targeted mentally. We're being targeted physically. We're being targeted spiritually. And so what this section is designed to do is to help my people armor up in all the areas in which we're being attacked, to promote total body health and wellness for original people, mentally, physically, spiritually. And the types of tips you will usually hear from me on the Narrator podcast, I give you an example. So like physically, I might be talking about the health benefits of a plant, herb, fruit, vegetable extract, elixir, root, herb that you can either ingest orally or apply topically to, help you be healthy. Or some type of physical exercise you can perform to stay in peak physical condition. On the mental side, stuff like mindful breathing, meditation, reading books, like anything to promote, positive or healthy brain functions. Now on the spiritual side, things that guard your spirit, like praying, also meditating, because meditation is spiritual too. And all kinds of other different spiritual practices. For wild cards, you might hear me sometimes talk about, quantum law, universal law, or metaphysics. But definitely all total body health and wellness. And, here we go. Health and wellness tips section on the Narrator podcast. Let's go. Today's health and wellness tip I will be talking to you about, it's going to be super brief, but the benefits of climbing. Yes, climbing helps improve your health. It stimulates circulation and blood flow to your limbs. It strengthens your core. If you have a really tight core, you'll have less gut problems. And so, when you have a healthy gut, you'll be more healthy because you'll be digesting your food better. You'll lose weight quicker. So like physically, the core is where it's at. You got to keep your core nice and healthy. You'll build strength. So yeah, you will be building your core, because the core is just like the the building blocks of your body. You'll be it helps you digest food better, but it also strengthens you. Climbing strengthens other muscle groups, gives you helps you develop upper body strength, flexibility in limbs. So it'll help prevent you from being stiff. You'll be nice and flexible and agile. Climbing also helps, with building your lung capacity. Climbing also helps with stamina, endurance. And then on the mental aspect of climbing, when you climb something, it just releases something in your brain cells. It's like, it's like a euphoric rush when you get to the top. And it's almost kind of like a metaphor when you climb. This is why climbers climb. You're overcoming something. You're overcoming obstacles. You're starting at the bottom, getting to the top. And, it's just a mental thing to push yourself all the way to the top when you're climbing. So you got to keep going to get to the top. You can't rest for too long. And then, when you get to the top, that's the ultimate payoff. Like you You conquered whatever it was that you're trying to climb. So it's good, for your state of mind as well as your physical being. You accomplish something. But on a sidebar, like be responsible, be safe when you're climbing. Don't try to skip the basics and go straight to the advanced. Like if you're going to start climbing rocks and mountains, make sure you're consulting an expert, somebody knows what they're doing. Like start off small. There's rappelling towers you can do. Start on the little stuff first before you just get to going on rock bases and cliffs and mountains. Start off small. Don't just get to climbing. Don't try to meet the higher power trying to conquer your fear of heights or whatever. Be safe is what I'm saying. Make sure you got state of the art equipment. Your equipment's in good shape. Your instructor knows what he or she's doing. Be safe when you're climbing though. Well, that's it for the health and wellness section of the Narrative Podcast. Now on to the next section. Next section of the Narrative Podcast is called my speaking section. My speaking section basically deals with current events, breaking news, around the world globally or something specifically in our community. And the reason for me doing that is to deliver my commentary, unpack it from our perspective, because the media have us looking and sounding all kinds of crazy. So basically in this section, I'm controlling the narrative. I'm telling our story from our perspective in the speaking section. Just delivering my commentary, unpacking it from our eyes, whatever the news is. And the rare events that I don't have anything to talk about, what I usually do in place of that is a PSA, an observation, that I made about our people. There's something we need to work on as a people. By we, I mean me too. Sometimes it's me especially. Most of the time it's me especially. All right, it's me especially. I'll be the main one violating while I'm giving tips sometimes. All right. Speaking point of the day, 11-year-old boy in Mississippi, Adrian Murray. Let's talk about it. The shooting of Adrian Murray. Was it racial? Was it accidental? I'm going to be inclined to say it was racial. And I know accidents happen, but how I come to the conclusion that race was a big factor of his shooting because the police responded to a domestic. So you're an officer of the law, you're coming into a domestic situation. So there was nothing in the articles or nothing that surfaced that said, the man, her boyfriend or whatever had a weapon, had brandished a weapon. So you're an officer of the law, you're supposed to be trained to subdue the person with minimal force. If he's unarmed, and you have a pistol, you have the advantage. So you got tons of things in your arsenal that are non-lethal. You got your billy club, you got your pepper spray. Now they got rubber tip bullets. You got a graphite staff, the collapsible staff. You got stun gun. You got a taser. You got so many other things at your disposal, non-lethal things at your disposal to apprehend the suspect. But you go to your gun. your go-to is your service pistol, and you open fire. You don't identify yourself as law enforcement, so they just take this opportunity to shoot an N-word. Like he was ready to go on the scene, ready to shoot something. That's my assessment of it. And thank goodness this young man survived. But is it improper training? I mean, kinda, because they only get so long at the academy. I think they get less than 6 months in the academy when they train. Yeah, y'all can fact check. I don't know, but I believe it's like less than 6 months in the academy before they send them on to be a law enforcement officer. And I know when you arrive at the scene, you don't have all the details. The adrenaline's pumping. You got to be alert. You don't know what you're walking into. Situations vary from situation to situation, but at the same time, you're supposed to have some type of discernment. You're supposed to have some type of instincts. And if you don't lack the discernment, instincts, and foresight, that probably ain't the profession for you. And my people, we're the ones that pay for it all this time. All the time. So, so my final point I'm making on that, I'm going to say it was racial. He went in there with the intent to shoot, an original man. Whether he was guilty, not guilty, he knew he wanted to shoot something. He already had the pistol out. He was ready to drop a body. All right, so now on to my very last section of the Narrator podcast. This is the final thoughts or the final word. I kind of flip back and forth between titles. It just depends on how I'm feeling that day. And I believe today I'm feeling like word. So the final word of the day, what is the final thought or the word? I'm going to skip that. So the final thought or the final word is just a gem, a pearl of wisdom, something insightful, something to resonate with you, something to, invoke critical thinking, just something to have you ponder, something deep, like wow, just a wow moment. So something philosophical, just something to make you think. So my final word for today is create your own peace. And what I mean by that, too often we're trying to find peace in people. We try to find peace in things. We try to find peace in religion. We try to find peace in all these external sources except the one source that counts, which is yourself. You have to create your own peace, no matter what atmosphere you're in, no matter what setting you're in, no matter whom you're around. You have to create your own peace, because these days we got this little thing, the energy vibrators. Like, we love saying like, oh, I don't like being around that person. They energy off. They energy. It's the energy in this room. It's the energy in that room. And it's true. And it's true when you around somebody low vibrational, just always down in the dumps, vibrating at a low frequency, got low, frequency conversation, and just super down and super negative and always, projecting, that bleakness about them, that cold bleakness. You don't want to be around that, but at the same time, and you can't just be a hermit and exclude yourself from everything and everyone. You can't just cut everybody off. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you can't just, crawl into a little ball and not deal with nobody. You have to create your own peace. You have to create your own peace and then maintain your own peace as well. Because when you're at peace, you always have a brighter outlook and a brighter view of life, and you won't let negativity influence you and take you down. So while they're doing what they're doing, if you're at peace with yourself, within yourself, whatever is going on around you, you're not going to, succumb to it. And I know, like, it's a hard thing. It's an easier said than done thing, because there are some people that want to go out of your way to drag you into their war they're having with themselves. There's some super violent people out there that they done went past the darkness. They want to try to physically be in your way and, try to hurl insults and create rumors and lies and deception all around you, and just do everything they can do to knock you off your square. But in those rare instances, you do have the right to defend yourself verbally or physically. But primarily, ultimately, it's up to you to create your own peace. And having said that, peace. This has been another full episode of the Narrator Podcast. Thanks for listening. Join me next weekend, for another full episode of the Narrator Podcast. Download this episode and all previously recorded episodes of the Narrator Podcast. It's been a pleasure today. Thank you for tuning in and listening. I also broadcast live during the weekday, so tune into the Narrator Podcast regularly wherever you get your podcast from. I never know what day I'm gonna go live, so to catch me when I go live, during the weekday, tune in regularly wherever you get your podcast from. The best way to do it is follow me on YouTube, Halsey Allen on YouTube, and I'm Halsey Allen on Twitter as well. So for YouTube, hit the notification bell, hit subscribe and hit the notification bell. Then, hit me up at Halsey Allen on Twitter, because it broadcasts directly to Twitter and my YouTube. So for your YouTube, subscribe to my channel. Halsey Allen is just my viewer channel, but all my episodes of the Narrator Podcast automatically upload to there. YouTube and Twitter. For the YouTube, hit the subscribe and the notification bell. Then also, another project to support is my book titled The Black Card. It is on Poetizer.com. It's in the Poetizer bookstore on Poetizer.com. And it's titled The Black Card. It's a book of poetry. It's about 30 pages. It encompasses all our experience as a people, positive and negative, brilliantly put together, really insightful, really witty, great coffee book table, great read, travel read, take it with you wherever you go. Ultra sleek design. Go copy right now online on Poetizer. It's called The Black Card. You will love it. Go get it. Also support my poetry blog, Hallzies Poetry Corner, on blogger.com, and the address is www.mrhalziesblogs.com, and my tagline for my poetry blog is Hallzies Poetry Corner. poetry with a passion, poetry for all occasions. And when you go to that link, you'll find out why. And the best way to support my poetry from my poetry blog is to share it on all platforms, whatever digital space you're most active on, YouTube, TikTok, Tumblr, Facebook, Instagram, whatever you're active on, like share that link, share Halsey's Poetry Corner poem to your preferred platform. And I got tons of projects I'm cranking out. Let you know as I'm doing it upon completion. So good and so nice of you supporting me. Thanks for all the support. Thanks for all the downloads. Keep on supporting me. Keep on downloading all episodes of the Narrator Podcast. Stick and stay. Join me this weekend for another full episode of the Narrator Podcast. Yeah, that's a wrap, y'all. Sending you love, light, healing energy to my narrators, my Narrator Podcast family. Till next time, y'all. Out of here like last year, Halsey Allen and the Narrator Podcast signing off. And it's like that.
With Halsey Allen, the Narrative Podcast is changing the narrative one episode at a time.